Hey you guys, it's Chris Sanderson, Director of Training and Social Media for Ruoff Home Mortgage. Wanted to recap the talk I gave in the sales meeting today and hopefully give you some ideas that will explode your growth. Here's what we were talking about. The acorn. When you see that acorn, what do you see? Most people said, well, I see a seed. It's an acorn. One person said it was a food source. They were waiting for a squirrel to come out and grab the acorn and eat it. All right, that's one way to look at it. Here's another way. What about the oak tree? See, the oak tree comes from the acorn. It comes out of the acorn and develops into a tree. Now here's the cool thing. It's a double-edged sword. The oak tree, it doesn't have to do anything. Right? Nature and God and the universe plant it, the sun shines, the water falls, and the tree grows. That's the good thing about the tree. The difference between a tree and a human is the tree doesn't have any choices. It can't say, I don't like my neighborhood, I'm going to get up and go down the way. I don't like how my leaves look, so I'm going to get on Google and find out how to change the color of my leaves. It can't do any of that. It's stuck being what it is. That's where humans are different. So we have the miracle of choice. If we want something to be different next year, next week, the next hour than it is today, all we have to do is make a choice and change that. That's the difference between us and an oak tree. So when you look in the mirror, this is the question I ask. Do you see the seed or do you see more? Do you see what's possible? Do you see the tree? When I look at myself in the mirror, do I see only my current life situation, or do I see what is possible for me to become? And that's where I want to challenge you, because a lot of our people are all telling me they want their production to go up, up, up. You know, they want to do 20% more than they're doing right now. But the reality is they're not behaving any differently. And we can't just talk about it, we got to be about it. So if you're going to say I want to go up 20%, then something has to change. It's not going to go up by itself. So here's the equation that I shared that I think is pretty powerful if you're willing to let it be powerful. Here's how it goes. Your skills times the hours you work is going to determine your level of production. That's a simple formula, but look what happens here. If this is going to stay the same, this thing can move, right? Right now it's in balance. My skills and my hours, whatever those are, that's lining up to whatever my current production is. Now, what I can do next is I can say, wow, my skills are going down because the world is progressing and I'm not. So my skill in comparison to my competitors actually went down. What do I have to do? Now I got to make up in numbers, I got to make up in hours what I lack in skill. See, that's not where we want to be, but look what's cool. Right? This is a fulcrum. I can also do this. I can say, you know what? I want my skills to go up so my hours can go down. Now, how cool is that? I can become more effective, more efficient. I can get better at the steps that are important to my job, and by so doing, I can push this number up. If I want this to go up, then I got to get this to go up, or my hours got to go up. And we get to choose. And right now, I think a lot of people mentally, subconsciously, see, they're saying, I want my production to go up, but in the past, what that's meant is my hours go up. And what I'm suggesting to you, and I'm begging you to hear me, is that it doesn't have to be the hours. This is an equation. You could make the skill go up instead of the hours. And that's a choice that you get to make. It's not a choice that the acorn and the tree get to make, but it is a choice that we get to make as human beings. So check it out. You might have heard of this. It's called a little guy named Pareto in Italy, a little Italian guy. The Pareto principle. Familiar with this? The 80-20 rule says 80% of the results are caused by 20% of the actions. And you see it all around you in the world, right? 80% of the loans are done by 20% of the producers. In a church, 80% of the funding is given by 20% of the parishioners. This is stuff, you know, it's a principle. You can't change this. So what I did is I said, okay, in sales, which is what we're in, what are the 20% of the activities that get 80% of the results? And that's where I need to focus. That's the skills that I need to develop. So check it out. Right here's the sales funnel. The sales funnel is also known as the skills that I need to increase my income without changing my hours. First one, used to call it prospecting. I don't believe in that term. Now I call it becoming known. How do you become known in the marketplace? People can't do business with us unless they know who we are. So there's a zillion. This is the cool thing. Getting known has thousands of little branches here. And you don't have to use my blueprint. You use your own blueprint. For mine, it might be Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and public speaking, right? But for you, it might be mailers, it might be taking realtors to lunch, it might be writing a blog, it might be advertising on TV, it might be volunteering for the PTA. You get to decide. You get to decide. But that's one skill. Another one is opening the conversation. How do I open a conversation? Now that I'm known, how do I open this conversation? And do I have the people skills necessary to communicate with somebody who I do not know up to that point? Next, how do I establish trust? I'm known. I open the conversation properly. Now, do I know what I'm doing? Can I establish trust? That's the next question. The next one is to present my product, my service, and most importantly, myself. Do I have the skills necessary to present my product, my service, and myself properly? You can fall down on any of these, right? Next is how do I ask someone to do business with me? They used to call it closing the sale. If you do all this right, there's not a whole lot of closing the sale. It's just asking what to do. But this is a skill. And then last but not least, I got it in red because it's so important, is now, by God, we better deliver. So this is a skill. How do we deliver that loan? How do we deliver our product in a way that makes a buyer and the realtor say, wow, these guys are amazing at Ruoff. We have to do business there. So probably in your own mind, I'm just asking you now, look and see where could I use a little more skill. If I want a little more income, I need a little more skill. Which one would it be? Which one would it be? I'm guessing for most people, it's to become more known. So I'm inviting you now to look in the mirror, take a look at your present life situation and decide whether you are content where you are, whether you are happy, looking at that mirror and saying, okay, I see it, it is what it is. I'm content with my life situation right as it is now. Or are you going to look at that acorn you see in the mirror and say, you know what, it's just an acorn now, but I can see it has a potential to be a huge tree. And I'm not talking about just getting $1 million and having a beach house in Maui. Right? That might not be it for you. Whatever success looks like for you, I'm asking you to be bold enough to dream it and to believe it and then to act it into reality.